So Liverpool make a perfect start to the Arne Slot era as they claim a 2-0 win over Ipswich Town. But be honest, didn't really feel that perfect, did it, in the opening 45 minutes at Portman Road. Liverpool really struggling in that opening period up against an energetic, newly promoted team. And it just looked like it was going to be a difficult afternoon for them. But they come out in the second half, upped their game massively and come away with a comfortable win, really, that could have been more if you really look at it. I think the chances he created in that second half and how slick the football was, it really looked like it could have been a bigger win than it ended up being in the end. And I think, really, really good win on the opening day of the season, because I think against a team like Ipswich, you come up against a newly promoted side, and I think that's always going to be one of the best games that they put in, because they've got no scars, have they, of defeats in this new league. They come into it full of energy. The crowd behind them as well, obviously, that's so excited about being back in the Premier League. So they come into this game in full energy, certainly into that opening 45 minutes, and you thought, could they maintain this over the 90 and keep making it difficult for Liverpool? But I thought Liverpool's response was fantastic, and I think the stats really bear that out, actually, in terms of, it's kind of chalk and cheese really between the two performances. I mean, some first half statistics here. XG wise, 0.32 Ipswich to 0.11 Liverpool. They had 4 shots to Liverpool's 3 and 2 shots on target to Liverpool not even managing a single shot on target. So although Ipswich weren't creating an awful lot, they were stopping Liverpool creating anything, and were having the odd opportunity on the counter, which you only do need to score one of those, don't you, sometimes, to win a match. So it was a worrying performance from Liverpool. But as I say, chalk and cheese really with the second half, because they come out, Ipswich managed 0.15 XG over that second half. Liverpool 2.61. Ipswich managed 3 shots to Liverpool's 15 and 0 shots on target to Liverpool's 5. So just completely dominant from Liverpool, as dominant as you were likely to see in the Premier League in this season, really, in that second half. And I thought, magnificent from Liverpool to put on that performance, particularly because you have the mental aspect of that first half. It's still in your head. What if we can't turn it on? What if we can't use the things that we've worked on in pre-season? So they showed great mentality there, I think, the players to come out and be so dominant in that second half. I also think they kind of got used to the pitch, by the way, which I do want to mention, because I might have mentioned this if Liverpool had lost the game, but I want to mention it when they've won anyway, because I thought the pitch to me looked very, very dry, looked very hard to play on, and I think Liverpool, it took them a while to get used to that, because the ball was holding up. They couldn't be as slick. The balls in behind were falling well short of where they usually would. So I think they kind of got used to that a little bit. But I also want to put huge credit towards the manager. I think he had a massive influence on this. I mean, he speaks about it at full time, saying that one of the things he told his players is, look, you can play all the football you like, but if you don't start the game by winning your physical duels and your battles across the pitch, you aren't going to win football matches. And that absolutely was what Liverpool did in that second half. They were so much more physical. They won the battles. And that then gives you the platform to play your best football, doesn't it? And I think that's mostly encouraging from the manager, because and what I really liked about it is the fact that a lot of new managers come into the Premier League, and it's one of the things they almost have to learn on the job and get used to. I mean, we saw it even with Jurgen Klopp. So many times in his early reign at Liverpool, he almost got caught out by the fact that teams, some of the teams you come up against, they don't want the ball. They will go long. They'll try and play off that. They'll just try and bully you and turn the game into a physical battle all across the pitch. And no matter how good footballers you've got in your team, you can get beaten that way in the Premier League. So the fact that Slot kind of quickly recognised that after 45 minutes and knew that he had to change things and tell his players to win the physical battles, I think hugely encouraging. Shows that Liverpool have got a very, very smart manager. He also made a very, very brave change at half-time as well in swapping Quansah for Konate. I thought, I spoke prior to this season really about Quansah being the man who should be in the team. He'd earned that in pre-season, but clearly Slot had recognised this wasn't quite the game for him. He needed Konate's height, his ability to win duels. And that sub was one of the reasons Liverpool did change the game. The Ipswich couldn't go long as frequently, or they couldn't use it to get the ball up the pitch. Konate wins 75% of his aerial duels to Quansah's 50%. And that set the tone for everything that followed. As I say, you win your battles, you give yourself the foundation to win the game through the football that you can play, and Liverpool did that in the second half. So credit to Konate. credit to the team as a whole for winning the battles, but also huge credit, I think, to Arne Slot and how encouraging that he has had a hand tactically in winning the game for Liverpool first off the bat, first game of the season, to show he can influence things in that way, in a way that Jurgen Klopp had done many times down the years. I think fans should be very, very excited about that. Now, a few other talking points, I think, to go through the game. Going to do them slightly differently this season. I used to go through all the players individually, but I think I'm just going to go through bigger talking points. I think there's more detail to go in there and you get a better picture of the game, really. And one thing I want to talk about is that I got a few tweets at half-time suggesting that Liverpool's biggest issue, it's the number 6, Liverpool, if you haven't got a holding midfield, they haven't bought someone, and this is the big issue. And I want to say, before I get into this, before anyone jumps on me in the comments, I absolutely believe that 6 is an area that Liverpool need to strengthen. I think if you can't get Zubimendi, surely you can find someone else who fits the bill and improves the side. I think it is a glaring weakness for them, in an area they can definitely, or not necessarily a glaring weakness, but an area they can definitely improve and get a top-class operator in there. But I argued at half-time, I didn't think that the issue was the number 6, and I think second half absolutely proved it. I think, like I say, the physical battles were being won all across the pitch by the players that pretty much, apart from Kanate coming in, had started that first half. It was just about work rate, it was just about those players doing their jobs better and moving from there. And also, the reason I don't think the 6 was an issue in this game is because I thought Ryan Gravenberch had a fantastic game. Especially second half, like most players, he was better than he was in the first half, but I think he had a really, really encouraging and good game. And if Liverpool, it's my understanding that Liverpool aren't going to add in that position, or they're certainly, sources are saying that at the moment, they don't expect a number 6 to be added. And if that's the case, then it's going to be Gravenberch, and we have to hope that he can adapt to that job. But I think the early signs that we saw in this game were hugely encouraging. Really liked what I saw from him. He wins 6 out of 12 duels. You want to be in and around that 50% mark, maybe just slightly nudging higher. But generally, Liverpool have played well if they're in and around that 50% mark or just nudging above. So decent there. 8 defensive actions, and he wasn't dribbled past even once, which I think, again, for a number 6 in that position is an absolutely key statistic. You don't think as Gravenberch is a kind of natural on the defensive side, but his statistics there showed up really well. Thought of quite a few moments where he nicks in as well with his long legs to pinch the ball. So he's got the physical qualities to do it. Let's see if he can keep adapting and get there. But he also has that quality on the ball now. I spoke about this before in terms of his ability to drop the shoulder when he's in that holding role and work a yard for himself to play the pass, and he did that countless times today. Really, that is a quality he can really bring to that number 6 position that maybe others don't have in the squad. So really, really liked how he did that. And also 9 passes into the final third. Only Trent Alexander-Arnold out of any player on the pitch matched that. They both got 9, so both the highest on the pitch. So again, he's doing his job there. He's getting the ball, he's winning it, he's using the ball and firing it into the final third as quickly as he can. Thought he was absolutely brilliant in that aspect, and no better example of that than around the first goal. What a ball that is that he plays in behind to put Salah in to then pass on to Jota to open the scoring. Absolutely brilliant ball, and you see Jota going over to him at the end and after celebrating the goal, and pointing at him, recognising how key that was, because as well that comes at 0-0. Liverpool are struggling a little bit in the game. They'd shown better in the second half, but they need that breakthrough moment, and I thought Gravenberch was as key as Salah or Jota to get in that. So I thought a marvellous performance from him today, and let me know what you thought about it in the comments as well. Interested to hear your thoughts about that. Now, another aspect I want to talk about and touched on there is the attackers, and again, in these opening day games and much like pre-season, really, you can tend to be sticky in attack, not necessarily looking as quick and slick as you would like to in this period. But I thought today Liverpool in attack, that again, second half particularly, they looked electric. I thought they were so dangerous. Some of the interplay was really, really good, and again, encouraging for what's to come when these players are absolutely fully on it. I thought, Salah, he's on 9 opening day goals now, which is a Premier League record. That's testament to his preparation, the way he keeps himself in shape. He's always ready for the start of the campaign, and then brilliant all the way through it as well. Incredible. That contract situation is going to rumble on a little bit longer, but it's an interesting one. If he keeps performing like this, can he say to Liverpool, look, I'm not declining, you have to keep hold of me? I thought he was marvellous today. Jota looked sharp as attack again. He gets his goal. He always gets a goal. He had a chance, actually, Jota, that he'll be disappointed with, that he heads wide from an Alexander-Arnold cross, but so much to like about his general performance. And of course, as I say, gets a goal, and he'll be hard to get out of that number 9 role. And Diaz, again, missed a decent chance, which is very Diaz, but we always talk about, Darwin Núñez, can Arne Slot get more from him? And Luis Diaz, I'm sure there are improvements that the manager can make there in terms of his coolness in finishing in positions like that. Can he, if he can do it for Núñez, can he do it for Diaz as well? Let's hope so. But I think, everything else was there in terms of the work rate, the ball carrying. He gets Liverpool up the pitch. Some really nice exchanges with other attackers as well. So really, really liked him. And I just thought the attack in general was very, very good in terms of how it worked. And as I say, that's a nice surprise on the opening day, because I don't think that is always the case, really. You can look a little bit off it in that aspect. But in the second half, Liverpool just, as I say, they created 2.61 XG and just blew Ipswich away. Could have won more comfortably. So fantastic to see the attack firing from the off and looking a little bit structured as well. There was some quick attacks in there, but also some real patience, which is slightly different to what we've seen under Jurgen, particularly in that last season. So, if that can continue to thrive, then that bodes really well for the season. And final point, I want to talk about really is the fact that Joe Gomez wasn't in the squad. Now, it's my understanding that he's not quite up for sale, but Liverpool are going to allow him to explore opportunities, and you can kind of understand that, really. I think, you look going into this season, he's maybe third choice right back behind Bradley and Alexander-Arnold. Left back, he's, Robertson looks first choice, Tsimikas maybe second choice, because he's that left footer and he gives you balance. Even though I thought Gomez did well there, you do always want that balance down at left back. And centre half, again, he's definitely fourth choice, isn't he? So you can understand why Liverpool are allowing him to explore those opportunities. It does look like a move could be on the horizon for him, which is, sad to see him go, because he's a great player for Liverpool, but he is so far down the pecking order at the moment that I think it's fair for him to be allowed to go and seek regular football elsewhere. But also, Liverpool will have to react. We know defence is an area they've been looking at. So that is something that they're going to have to move in the market, really, if they do let Joe Gomez go, because you are going to get injuries through a season. You do need that depth there. So I think if Joe Gomez does go, Liverpool will absolutely be dipping into the market. So that's something for us to keep an eye on. Now, I'm going to leave it there. As I say, let me know in the comments, what did you think about today's performance, particularly second half? How encouraging was that? Do let me know your thoughts, and please do subscribe to the channel as well if you're new to these videos. Obviously, I cover every match. I'll be at Anfield next week as well. Very much looking forward to that. And also, so many more transfer updates to go. I mean, we've had Joe Gomez's future thrown into doubt there. I'm sure that could mean an outgoing for him, but also some more incomings. And Liverpool have yet to make a signing, but the expectation is that they will do that in the next couple of weeks of the window. So the best way to keep track of that is to subscribe to the channel, and I'll bring you every transfer update. So I'm going to leave it there. And as I say, hopefully transfer updates to come. So hopefully I'll see you guys very soon.